woods. It's got yellow eyes. It's looking at me. Let's get the heck out of here. Scooby-Doo style, kids. That's it for the Kama staircase. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. So here I am back at the temple trying to figure out what was in the wood last night. So I'm just going to talk to this guy here real quick. ที่นี่มีอะไรมั่งอ่ะเที่ยวมีทำบุญที่ไหนเนาะ
มาทำบุญที่นี่หลักๆเลย
3 ชั้นใช่ไหม
ครับผม
ไม่ใช่7 ชั้น
3 ชั้นครับเจดีย์3 ชั้น3 ชั้นครับผม
แล้วฝั่งนี้
อันนี้เรียกว่าพระมหามณฑปเจดีย์จำลองมาจากอินเดีย
เหรอ
ครับผมมีอยู่ด้านล่างด้านหลังของวัด
Let me quickly explain what that man was talking about. He said that what we probably ran into in the forest during the Kama staircase was a mythical creature called the Chupacabra. And the Chupacabra, he explained further that he believes they originated from India. Well, about 100 years ago, they managed to capture about 7 and transported them to a secret location hidden off the coast on a remote island. That's where we're headed next. I made it back to the office. Hold on a second. Let me turn that fan off. So here's what I found out. I found the island. The island is a remote, desolate island about 100 miles off of the coast. Number 2, it looks like the island is a nuclear waste disposal plant. They have nuclear reactors in the area. Plutonium P235, I think is what it is. And they keep the unreacted plutonium in these like giant tankers. They're kind of like huge water towers. Looks like the half-life of plutonium P235 is like 300 years. So it's going to be around for a while, and they're storing it on this remote island. So that may have something to do with why these Chupacabra are so weird. Now, to be honest, I really don't want to go there by myself, so I made a quick phone call to the boys and saw if anyone was willing to go with. Now, none of the boys are around, so I'm going to have to travel by myself. All right? Then, the third thing that I found out is the Chupacabra are actually fairly timid creatures, but you definitely don't want to chase them because that's when they get all weirded out. Now, if we get into a position where we're face to face with a Chupacabra, what do? The best thing to do is to hypnotize the Chupacabra. Now, here's the weird part. When we're trying to hypnotize the Chupacabra, we have to say some special stuff that makes the Chupacabra kind of like relax. So here's what it is. Remember Seobnaf. Alright, kind of weird. What we're going to do now is jump on the motorbike and travel down to the south, try and see if we can find a boat out to that island. So, let's get started. Adventure time again, kids. Let's go. Kids, hey, we made it to the pier. If you look here, there's a long pier, and there's a whole bunch of these boats right here. We're going to talk to one of the fishermen here and see if we can rent one of these boats. So let's take a walk. Hey, ขอโทษครับเอาเรือนี้ไปเกาะสีช้างไหมไปเดินกลับบ้านเหรอโอเคอย่าขอบคุณมากนะเจ้านี้มีเรือหางไหมไม่มีอ่ะเรือไปเกาะสีช้างอยู่ไหนอ่ะโอเคขอบคุณมากนะ Kids, hey, I managed to grab a ride with a cargo ship here that's bringing supplies out to the island. You can see I'm going to sit here with the cargo. Yeah. kids, so hey, we made it to the island. Whew. Let's see. Uh-oh. I hope nobody sees me. Let's get out of here. It looks like we're in the center up here. So, big hill. Hey kids, I have a great idea. You know what? This walking business is for the birds. เช่ามอเตอร์ไซค์ยาว1 วันได้ไหมครับใช่ครับ200นะโอเคแล้วพรุ่งนี้มันเจอที่พรุ่งนี้ก็เอาไปคืนที่ท่าเรือนะคะ Thank you ขอบคุณมากนะใส่กุญแจไว้ที่รถนะคะ Okay, thank you ขอบคุณมากนะ Bye Kids, so it looks like we got a motorbike here. Sweet. Tell me that's not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your entire life. What? Kids, hey, I haven't found anything yet, but I did run into this creepy little abandoned hut here, and I think something is in there because I just heard that door open up a little bit. But I'll tell you what, I'm getting the heck. Let's get out of here. Kids, we made it here to the nuclear waste disposal plant, and if you look over here, you see here the tankers that contain the plutonium P235 that's radioactive. They keep them housed in these monster tankers. You can see that the fence here is about 15 feet tall, and there's barbed wire on the top. Down over here, this is the main tanker here. We're gonna head down the road here and see if we can find some Chupacabra. So I combed every inch of the island with the motorbike and no trace of the Chupacabra. Kids, hey, it's the next day and we're still searching for the Chupacabra. So we're just walking around in the jungle, looking around and seeing what we can find here. So let's just keep hunting. I know they're here. Kids, hey, I think I found something. Follow me. Look, it's a spirit house. There's gotta be something creepy going on out here. Why would they put that here in the middle of nowhere? Red member, Siobnav. I think I spotted him. Oh. I'm gonna go around the other side. He's looking right at me. Kids, he looks like he's too happy. Remember Siobnav. Remember Siobnav. That's not working, kids. Remember Siobnav. I don't think the Chupacabra boys are such a big fan of me chasing them around here in the jungle. Wait. What? Did I just say fan? You kids think I'm joking around, man. That's Chupacabra, 3 huge ones. Remember Siobnav. Remember Siobnav. Remember Siobnav. Hypnotizing the Chupacabra, kids. What the heck? Look, kids. Remember Siobnav. Remember Siobnav. Remember Siobnav. Remember Siobnav. Remember Siobnav. Kids, I don't really think we're hypnotizing the Chupacabra here. Seems like they're just running away. Remember Siobnav? What the heck is that? I feel like somebody is messing with us. You know what? Why don't we head back to the Genius Lab and analyze that statement a little further? Let's get out of here. Hey kids, so I set up a meeting with a professional hypnotist from Russia. His name is Dr. Kaznajanov, and we're going to go have a quick meeting with him to see if I'm actually hypnotizing the Chupacabra with the correct stuff. Dr. Kaznajanov, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. You?
I'm great, thank you for meeting me. I've got a couple quick questions. So, how long have you been doing hypnotism in Russia?
All my life, what I remember myself. We have a laboratory in Russia before, which belongs to KGB. It was a secret special. Now it's prohibited in Russia.
So, how do you actually hypnotize animals? Is it possible, first of all?
Piece of cake, very easy.
So what do you do?
I do Remember Siobnav.
Remember Siobnav? Okay. Well, it looks like I'm doing the right thing then. Dr. Kazajanov?
Yes, my pleasure. Remember Siobnav.
Here you have it, kids. Hypnotizing the Chupacabra. Kids, I made it back to the Genius Lab, and you're never ever gonna believe what I just figured out. So I got to thinking about what that Russian guy said, that weird saying, Remember Siobnav? So I downloaded this program on my computer called Audacity. And basically, it's a sound recorder, and you can kind of do a bunch of different cool effects. Here's what I did. I came over here and Remember Siobnav. Remember Siobnav. Remember Siobnav. So I simply just recorded that. Then I grabbed the track, and under the effects button here, I reversed it, and you're never ever gonna believe this. Check it out.
Fine voice, Hermanner. Fine voice, Hermanner. Fine voice, Hermanner.
Fanboys? Remember? Yeah, I sure remember that from like 7th grade English class. Fanboys. What the heck? No possible way. I knew it. I knew somebody was messing with us. Let's go ahead, take a look at the lesson for English grammar rule fanboys.
Kids, remember Siobnaf, the fanboys rule. Think of this rule, and this mnemonic helps you remember these words: for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. First thing you want to do here, after we learn this lesson, we'll make a 3x5 note card. On the front, we're going to write fanboys. On the back, you simply just list off these words and make a note that this is an exception to what we have learned earlier as the comma chair. The comma chair is going to be using one comma. The comma chair, quick review, an independent clause, comma, and a dependent clause. That dependent clause is going to give you like a little mini definition of the word that's right before that comma. We've seen this a million times. I like Mr. Chung. That's an independent clause, comma, a man from Hong Kong. A man from Hong Kong is a dependent clause that gives you more information about that one word right before that comma. That is the golden rule in English grammar for one comma. However, the fanboys is the exception to that rule. Now, I know who made this stuff up. There's always making exceptions for everything. So, what really the fanboys does, it's an exception. It's going to take two independent clauses and it's going to link them together, which we know we never do that because of the comma chair. That's the most important rule, right? But if we have two independent clauses linked together with one comma, and we start the second independent clause with one of these words, fanboys, then that's going to be okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at first example. The sun is shining now. That's an independent clause. You see that in yellow we have the comma right here. Then we have our fanboys, but, and then the second part, it will rain later. That's another independent clause. That is used correctly. Now, here's what I do. First things first. Whenever I'm tested on something like this, sometimes when you read it, you're not sure, like, is that a complete sentence or not a complete sentence? Here's what I do. I just take my finger, my index finger, and I just simply place it right over that word. Then I read that, and it's real easy to be able to identify that's an independent clause. It will rain later. Okay, great. That's an independent clause. The fanboys is almost like a little connector. Boom. Here's what you see when we come into ACT, how they're going to test you with the wrong usage. We're going to have an independent clause, comma, a fanboys, and a dependent clause. Well, we already know that that doesn't work because that violates the comma chair. So we're going to make sure when we see that fanboys, there's two independent clauses, one on each side of the comma. All right? Once again, what I do when I see that fanboys, I simply just take my index finger, put it right over there, read the first part, label it, read the second part, label it. Let's do it. I went to the tennis match. That's an independent clause. Boom. There's a comma there in yellow, and I put my finger over the word and. The swim meet. The swim meet obviously is not a complete idea. It's a dependent clause. You never link an independent and a dependent together with a fanboys. Remember, it's got to be two independents. Does that make sense? All right. Let's talk about the logistics and the methodology, how we're going to actually apply this to the test. All right. First things first, if you come over here, you're going to see that we're going to get answer choices. Always, first thing that I do, I don't start reading up in the text area. I simply look at my answer choices. Here's problem number 11. Problem 11, A, B, C, and D. I look in and see. If I see words in the answer choices that are fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, so, and I'm looking for commas. All right. Oh, I see answer choice D has the word so, and there's a comma there. That means that before has to be independent and after has to be independent. Check to see if that violates the rules of grammar that we have. Remember, check your answer choices first. Fanboys, remember Siobnav. Kids, what the heck? Russian hypnotism. That's it for the fanboys lesson, kids. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Kids, let's take a look at the answers to these three problems. First things first, fanboys, F-A-N-B-O-Y-S. Whenever you come over here, the first thing that you should do is preview your answer choices here and see we have the word or, and that tells us F-A-N-B-O-Y-S. It's a fanboys. So what you want to do is remember independent, comma, fanboys here, and another independent clause connected. Come back over here. First thing you do is you read up to the comma, label it. Mimi was alone in a strange neighborhood with no map. That's an independent clause. We have a fanboys here. What I do, I just simply put my finger over the fanboys and then look for an independent clause. A flashlight, that's a dependent clause right there. Boom, A is out, violates that. If you look over here, answer choice B, you see here's our fanboys here. We already read up to the beginning. Mimi was alone in a strange neighborhood with no map, independent clause. Or a flashlight, that's a dependent clause. I'm going to put a dot by answer choice B. It's going to be an independent. And then that part there is a dependent clause. All right, come back over here and take a look at answer choice C. Answer choice C, there is a comma after the word neighborhood. Let's go ahead, clear the screen and refresh. Mr. Chung, belt buckle necklace, prepositions. The word with is what's called a throwback that starts a preposition. Let's go ahead and do a quick review. I like Mr. Chung with dark hair. With dark hair is a preposition that throws you back to the word right beforehand. The word with is like a space or just like a comma, so you would never, ever, ever use the word with and a comma together. That's like putting two spacers there. That's going to be out. Answer choice A and answer choice C out for different reasons. Answer choice D, if you look over here, we have a comma after map. We go ahead and read up to the comma. Mimi was alone in a strange neighborhood with no map, independent clause. Then it says, or a flashlight without batteries. For me, I simply just put my finger over the fanboys and don't read it. I'm looking to see to make sure that that's an independent clause. A flashlight without batteries. A flashlight without batteries, there's a noun, flashlight. Without batteries is not the verb, that's preposition. So that's going to violate that. That is a dependent clause. Correct answer for number 1 is B. Clear the screen. Let's go ahead and take a look at 2. 2, tricky one here, kids. Often, comma, trace that in. My brother and I, we're doing no change. My brother and I, that's a dependent clause. Joined our mother in her adventures into the depths of Walmart. What? That violates that because that is 2 dependent clauses put together. Wrong. Take a look at answer choice F. F has a comma after brother. We lead up to the comma, my brother, that's dependent. And I joined in our adventures. Okay, there is no comma on that one. I joined our mother in adventures. That is going to be an independent clause. But the dependent clause on the front violates that. We get that one out of there. Take a look at answer choice G. We'll clear the screen. Answer choice G, there's a comma after brother. Trace it in. Get rid of this one. Here's a comma that we keep. Almost think of this as a dependent clause as well. It's non-essential. We cross it out. My brother, that is going to be dependent. There's our fanboys. We put our finger over that. We already know that this is incorrectly used because I joined our mother in her adventures into Walmart. That's an independent clause, but you never put a comma between an independent and a dependent with a fanboys. That's going to be out. Take a look at H. H has nothing. Go ahead, clear the screen. We'll take a look at answer choice H. H, trace it in. Nothing. That means we get rid of that. My brother and I joined our mother on her adventures into the depths of Walmart. H for 2. Boom. Kids, take a look at number 3. Number 3, first things first, I look at my answer choices first. I see that we have word and, fanboys. F-A-N-B-O-Y-S. I see that we have the word so. Let's start with no change. The forecast was for snowstorms. Independent clause. I put my finger over this. Don't even read it. We took all our cold weather gear on the camping trip. Put a dot by it. That's an independent clause. 2 independent clauses connected by the word so. Fanboys. Let's go ahead and take a look at answer choice B. Continue on. There is a comma after snow, and we get rid of that one. Forecast was for snow, independent clause. Then it says storms, so we took our, that doesn't make any sense. It's a dependent clause. Now, some of you may have said, hey, that might work, and a dependent clause's job is to give you more information about the word that's right before the comma. Storms, is that more information about snow? Yes. However, that is not going to work because of fanboys. Fanboys is a better option for you. You see here, we should have a comma there. Let's take a look at answer choice C. Answer choice C, we trace in the commas. There are none. Let's get rid of this one. That means we have to read from the beginning to the end without taking a breath or a pause. If you feel like you have to kind of hesitate a little bit, that means that there's some punctuation that's needed. Ready? The forecast was for snowstorms, so we took all cold weather gear on camping trip. You see how I kind of ran out of gas here? I feel like there's some punctuation that needs to be in here. I crossed out answer choice C. We'll take a look at answer choice D. Answer choice D, lots of commas. There's a comma after snow and storms. Mr. Chung, double comma, cross out what's in the middle. We read and see, is that really non-essential information? The forecast was for snow, so we took our cold weather gear on the camping trip. Independent clause. Independent clause. And this is non-essential information. However, there's 2 commas. Remember, the basic rule of grammar on ACT English is the razor blade. Simple is best. What is more simple? Bunch of commas or no commas? That does work. However, you see that answer choice A is correctly using our fanboys. That is the rule that they're testing. Answer choice A for problem number 3. Kids, you have any questions about fanboys? Speak to the professor. We'll get you squared away. Thanks for watching. Remember, see you up next.